Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. I mentioned in last week's vlog that I had two very exciting announcements coming up, and in this week's vlog I'm going to tell you what one of those is. I've been waiting for ages to talk about this because it involves travel, and as we know, things have been super up in the air with travel recently. In fact, they still are a little bit up in the air, but we are going to go ahead with the coolest expedition that I think I have ever thought of, and I came up with this idea with Earth's Edge, who are a travel company, a B Corp certified travel company based in Ireland, and they have trips all over the world. They specialize in high altitude trips of kind of walking, cycling, hiking, all of that kind of stuff. And I am co-hosting a trip with them, which I mean kind of blows my mind because this is the sort of thing that I live for. This sort of trip is what makes me tick, really. So I'm just unbelievably excited to be able to share it with you. And the great thing is that I have 18 spaces available for other people to come along to kind of share the experience with me and everyone else who's coming along. So without further ado, I'm going to share with you my Morocco expedition. So on the 6th to the 17th of October 2021, I will be taking 18 people out to Morocco to experience a cycling and hiking adventure up Mount Toubkal. Mount Toubkal is the highest peak in the north of Africa. It's in the Atlas Mountains, and we're going to do a cycling and hiking trip to reach the peak, starting in Marrakesh through the Agafay Desert, up through the Atlas Mountains onto the peak of Mount Toubkal, and then across to Essaouira, which is a very cool coastal city in Morocco that has all sorts of amazing things. I've been wanting to go there forever, and we're going to be doing all of this over the space of 12 days of some pretty intense exercise. So just to give you kind of an overview, like I said, it's into some of the most amazing places. Obviously Marrakesh is world famous for its markets and its riads, and we'll be staying in a riad there. So yeah, we'll be starting in Marrakesh and then traveling through the Agafay Desert by bike. We'll be covering 281 kilometers overall, most of which is by bike, thank goodness, because I think we'd all die. It's 3 days of cycling, 185 kilometers, followed by 5 days of hiking through the Atlas Mountains, and we will be covering 96 kilometers on foot. The peak of Mount Toubkal is 4,167 meters, and the reason I chose Mount Toubkal, other than obviously the fact that I've always wanted to go to the Atlas Mountains and I really adore Morocco, is that it is high enough to be a real challenge, but not so high that really the limiting factor is altitude rather than fitness. So I kind of wanted to go for something that was somewhere in between, that would be really challenging for people, but not so challenging that it actually becomes kind of a little bit miserable. And I also wanted to make sure that this trip was open to as many people as possible because I don't want it to kind of be exclusionary. But at the same time, of course, I love my challenges, and if it can be quite difficult and something you have to train for, then that's obviously much more rewarding at the end of the day. So, or at the end of the 12 days of very intense exercise. The trip then finishes in Essaouira, which is, like I said, on the coast, and there's going to be some free time there to chill, celebratory meal at the end of the expedition before heading back to Marrakesh, and then you can either stay on for another holiday, some relaxation time, or you can travel back to the UK. The accommodation along the way will be in riads in Marrakesh and Essaouira, and then also in gîtes, which are kind of local accommodation and also camping as well. But I'd say compared to some of the other expeditions I've done, it's quite high-end accommodation, so you're definitely going to be very comfortable for the entire way. And the most exciting thing, not the most exciting thing, one of the most exciting things is the food. So there's going to be a chef along the trip with us. They will be cooking all our food. Most of the trips I've done have been kind of tent meals, freeze-dried food, all that kind of stuff. There's going to be none of that here. For the most part, it is going to be all chef-made. The whole trip will be vegetarian. I'll obviously be doing it vegan, and you will have hot food, and you'll be going to bed on a very full stomach every single evening. No one is going to be going hungry, because I know there's kind of nothing more miserable than feeling really, really hungry when you're having to do a lot of exercise. It is very tough. And because the trip is so tough, there are going to be training days and a training weekend in advance of the trip included in the price of the trip, and those are going to be in Dorset and the Brecon Beacons, two of my favourite places to travel to kind of do trail runs and hiking and all of that kind of stuff. They're both absolutely beautiful and hopefully accessible for people from around the UK. One of my favourite things about these kind of of trips is the sense of community. I know a lot of people come along to them with friends, but also I feel like one of the best things to do is kind of come along on your own and meet like-minded people. I know it can be quite difficult to encourage a friend who maybe isn't so much into exercise and adventure as you are to come along to something quite as intense as this. So for that reason, the training day and weekend are going to be a great way of meeting other people, as well as obviously having an experience of hiking all day and traveling over a long distance. But also we're going to have an adventurers Facebook group, which is going to be a closed group where you can discuss your training, what you're packing, kit, recommendations, plans, all of this kind of stuff. And obviously we can answer any questions that you guys may have as well. And while we're out in Morocco, we're going to be organising a visit to a local school to drop off unwanted or unused kit. So if you can bring out some kit that you've got lying around at home, I mean, if you're anything like me, there will be some kit that you maybe haven't used as much as you wanted, and you can take it out there and make sure that it is used by people who really need it. And Earth's Edge will be in touch with all of the attendees prior to departure from the trip to let them know what sort of kit and what sort of supplies are needed for the school. I know a lot of my followers will be interested in the sustainability aspect of the trip. Earth's Edge is a B Corp, which if you don't know what that is, it's a third-party accreditation that basically verifies and certifies that the company is doing all it can to keep things sustainable and ethical as well. And Earth's Edge are actually the highest scoring B Corp in the whole of Ireland, which is pretty cool. And as part of this, the whole trip is going to be carbon neutral. And I know carbon neutral is not the same as not emitting the carbon in the first place. This is something that I've actually discussed at length in quite a lot of my blog posts, but I wanted it to be as eco-friendly as possible to get out there and do this whole trip. For the most part, we're going to be traveling under our own power. So the flights will be offset with a gold standard carbon offsetting program. And last but not least, Earth's Edge will be planting 3 native trees in a local place in Ireland where they are based for each attendee, which is pretty cool. Okay, so you're probably wondering what's included in the trip and how much it costs. So just to let you know, it is £399 deposit, and then the full fees for the 12 days, including everything, is £2,940. And what that includes is the expedition leader, the expedition doctor, the training weekend in the Brecon Beacons, the training day down in Dorset, and of course the Facebook group and all of that kind of information as well. There's going to be local guides, there's going to be porters as well for kit and support staff for any support that's needed. All accommodation is included obviously in the trip, all food is included, as well as national park fees as well, and VAT and all that kind of stuff. The celebratory dinner at the end, which I'm so excited about, is included as well, and my god, we're going to need that by the end of it. All transport is included and transfers to and from the airport. Mountain bike hire is included, group gear, so things like first aid kits, mountaineering equipment, cooking equipment, etc, etc. All of that is included in the fees. There's a sort of page with all of this information on, as well as the day-to-day itinerary. I'm not going to go through it on here because it's so in-depth and quite long. The amount that we're going to be doing each day is on this website, so I'm going to put that down in the description box below so that you can go and have a look, see if this is something for you. I would love it if you could share this with your friends, tag people on Instagram that you want to come with. I'm going to do a post, but you guys are the first people to know about this, so if you really want to guarantee a place, make sure to book as soon as possible and get the deposit paid. I'm going to be talking a lot more about this over on my Instagram, so come over and see me on Food Fitness Flora on Instagram. And if you have any questions, either just put them in the comments below or send me a DM on Instagram, or you can email, and there's a lot of contact information on the Earth's Edge webpage, which I am linking below. So that is it. I hope you are as excited about this as I am. I know that so many people want to get away after what has been, let's be honest, a fairly miserable last year. I have really missed exploring, and honestly my trip to the Azores with Tribe Run for Love was one of the best things, and I've tried to kind of model this off that and what I love from that so much, which was, you know, the sense of adventure, everything being so well planned, but then also meeting other people and having that sort of camping experience as well. I adored that, and it has still lived with me to this day, obviously, and so I've kind of modeled this trip to Morocco based off my favorite things from that trip, and I really hope that it lives up to all the expectations that I have for it. But yeah, if you have any questions, obviously put them below, and I hope that you can join us. It is going to be fantastic. So if you did enjoy this video, please do give it a thumbs up. Let me know if you're planning on coming or if you have any questions. As I said, I will put the webpage in the comments box, so do go and check that out because it has so much more information on what you will need, what your fitness levels will need to be, and all that kind of stuff. So go and check that out. Hit the subscribe button. I will be talking a lot more more about it as we kind of lead up to it, but I'm gonna get started training ASAP because it's intense. That is it, and thanks again for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye!